If you've seen even a small amount of King's Game, I really hope this doesn't come as a surprise to you. King's Game is one of the worst shows I've ever seen. It's a generic death game story full of annoying moments, spatial anomalies, stupid characters, and it's busy trying to tell two separate stories at once. Not to mention the fact that it looks like a hentai studio animated it. I checked out the manga and I noticed something interesting. King's Game is the flashbacks in the show. The current timeline is from the sequel, King's Game Extreme. That means they decided to mash two stories together into one show. That's the most idiotic thing I've ever seen in an adaptation. Both manga are 5 books in length, so there's no way they could faithfully adapt either story in their 12-episode run. The main character has already been through a King's Game. His first time was through the original story, which is the flashback scenes in the show. When the game starts for the second time, he freaks out and tries to warn everyone. But he doesn't do it calmly or in a way that would make anyone believe him. Most of his character comes in the flashbacks when he's trying to help his friends while they can't handle what's happening. In the current timeline, he's just a generic protagonist that wants everyone to live. Crazy Girl is your normal high school student until the game starts, then she goes nuts. She's also already been through a King's Game, but she's ready to kill as soon as it starts. In the end, it's revealed that her motivations are to kill everyone so they don't have to deal with the pain of killing each other. It's really dumb, but by that point I stopped caring about anything. The rest don't really matter. We already know that any character you see in a flashback is going to die, and the ones in the current time don't last very long either. If a character is in a scene, then you know they're the next to die. Okay, it seriously looks like it was animated by a hentai studio. It was! Wait, it was? Nudist Beach got an animation? Anyway, the animation is boring and uninteresting, and at its worst, it's absolutely hilarious. It really ruins the dramatic scenes when you can't stop laughing at a character's head popping off. Pretty much every death scene is over the top. The music is uninteresting. The intro is this shitty screamo song that would be embarrassing for someone to walk in on. And the actual background music is bad. For most scenes, it's just a single piano.
正直、友達が死んだらこんなにへこむなんて思ってもみなかったよ。
For the scenes where people are dying, oh boy. Then there's this song that you hear probably twice an episode, which sounds like it's from that shitty new Corpse Party game.
わかってるでしょ。そんなことじゃゲームが終わらないことぐらい。
Then the rest of the show has no music. It's just silent for this scene for some reason.
俺を残してみんな死んだ。
The first scene is a generic dream sequence of main boy watching his girlfriend die in front of him. Then he wakes up and heads to the school he's transferring to. He sits in the back row next to the window and a girl introduces herself. He freaks out because she has the same name as his girlfriend who died in the last game. After some time, he finally becomes friends with his classmates, but then he sees that the game followed him. He has to kiss Honda before midnight or they both die. He tries to warn everyone, but he's such an idiot that he does it in the worst way possible. Everyone treats him as the freak that he's acting like, so he acts like a bitch and decides that he would rather die with Honda than have to go through another game. Honda finds him somehow though, and they kiss. They both live and get to the next challenge. The next game is that you can't go to sleep or else you'll hang yourself. They get everyone from the class that didn't already die from sleeping and meet in the park. Boy warns them and gets beaten up by the local douchebags before their leader is punished for interfering with the game. I feel like that only should have happened if he killed Main Boy, but I'm not the king. His punishment is to bleed to death. Everyone freaks out, and it's time for the next episode. After the shitty Screamo intro, the characters get the next game. This is the worst scene in the show, and we'll be coming back to it. Honda has to have sex with this guy. She says no, and then goes crazy, and decides she'd rather have sex with him than die. Main character gets beat up, and Honda tries to get this girl to kill him, because whoever she sends a message to will die. Random Big Boy comes to save him, and they leave with Death Phone Girl. They decide to go to the town where the first King's game that anyone knows of started. On the train there, he flashbacks to tell them about something that happened last time he was in a King's game, and that's the rest of the episode. In Flashback Town, a girl loses a game and goes blind. Then she decides that being blind is too hard, so she kills herself. In the next episode, if you cry in the game, you die for real. And a whole lot of people die. Main character lies to this girl to make her think her boyfriend didn't die so that she wouldn't cry. She acts like a psychopath and tortures him though, so he tells her. Then she dies. That was an excellent use of 20 minutes. Episode 6, we get to see this sick CG car. Alright, there's 10 people left in Flashback Land. This one might get confusing. Someone has to roll a die, then say the names of however many people the die says. Everyone they say dies, and then the person who rolled the die also dies. Did you get all that? Brown-haired friend rolls a 6 and kills everyone. Here's all the important shots. Then this girl tries to hack the King's game. That makes no sense at all. It's not like it's a phone game or anything. They just get text from a missing number and it tells them what to do. She types on a screen of tiles until it tells her it's done. Then she gets set on fire for cheating. She doesn't really act like she's on fire though, she just kinda stands there. No flesh burns off or cooks or anything. Her clothes disappear though.
That's pretty hot.
Now there's only 2. Good, the rest of the episodes may actually have some pacing. Episode 7, they crawl through a tiny hole and find the town where the game started. Then we get a crazy twist. Main Boy's ex-girlfriend is Evil Girl's twin. Does that matter? Nope. Big Boy and Death Phone Girl talk about who she's going to kill. She goes yandere out of nowhere and decides to kill herself and Big Boy because it would be romantic. Homeboy does the rational thing and punches her unconscious. He tries to send the text from her phone to kill Evil Girl, but it turns out she has to be the one to send the text. Now she's going to die, but at least he's safe. Oh, wait, the idiot gave himself a command to protect Yandere Girl. Main Boy gets a little too friendly with Big Boy before he dies, and then walks away while those two die. Then he walks back. He makes their corpses hold hands. How sweet. This episode also has the ugliest dog I've ever seen in anime. First I thought, oh, it's so you don't feel bad when she kills it. She doesn't kill it though, so I guess they just don't know how to draw cute dogs. Episode 8 and 9, they play a game where they have to break their fingers. If it's on the right hand, it's positive points, and left is negative points. You can give them to anyone in the class. Halfway through the game, though, Rape Guy goes on about his dream in this really out-of-place scene. This is the same problem a lot of badly written shows have. As soon as a character is given a backstory or any development, you know that they're going to die. So Main Boy gets a haircut and Rape Guy breaks 5 fingers to give Evil Girl -4 points and her friend -1. Her friend told him to do that, so she could see if Evil Girl cared about her. If Evil Girl broke a finger to save Friend, then Friend would help save Evil Girl. Instead, Evil Girl passes her turn and tries to convince Friend to break all of her fingers to save her. When that doesn't work, Evil Girl breaks all of her fingers for her. Friend becomes mentally unstable and gives 4 of the points to Evil Girl. It's really dumb and annoying when characters don't act like normal human beings just to help the plot advance. Friend also bleeds a whole lot less than this guy. Then Evil Girl kills Dream Boy by blocking the king on his phone. You'd think that this would count as interfering and she would die like this guy did, but that would make too much sense. Oh, and don't forget, this is the guy who tried to rape Evil Girl in the beginning. When he dies, it's just as ridiculous as every other death, and his Shota friend with terrible fashion puts a hat he bought on his headless body. At least he died before seeing what a terrible hat his friend thought he would like. Now they must race to a mountain. The person furthest away after 8 hours will die, and they can't use cars or anything. This guy falls in the ocean, and Main Boy tries to save him, but isn't strong enough. So he decides to just give up on life. Then ghosts of his dead friends touch him and give him strength. He keeps going with this girl until the time is up, then he ties his shoe, so he'll get the punishment rather than her. I guess the support he got from his friends was a waste. The episode ends saying the person in last place will be punished. Here's the cliffhanger moment we waited a whole week for. Is he going to die? Of course not. It's the guy who drowned in the previous episode. Right after the intro, the sweater or dress thing she was wearing is now pulled down onto her waist so that we can see her boobie window. Then another 8 hours pass. He chooses to play rock, paper, scissors to decide which of the two will take the next punishment. A bunch of useless interaction happens because this girl was running away to take the punishment for the Main Boy, and she dies. Then we flash back to see the end of the first King's game. He has to kill the one he loves the most, but she pretty much kills herself, and his scream summons rain. Then we learn that the King's game was continued because he didn't want to take the final punishment. Evil Girl is the first to make it to the mountain peak. This dude trips into a tiny-ass pitfall trap, and instead of moving, he just twitches and gets his leg broken. She teleports to another girl and tells her the right way to go because she knows she doesn't trust her. The Main Boy meets up with 2 others, and they're all going to run to the finish. This girl ignores both people Evil Girl tricked and sees the finish line, but before she makes it, she has a mental breakdown and trips forward. No, wait, backwards off the cliff. Evil Girl teleports again to block the Main Boy's group, and the episode ends. Finally, the last episode. The logical thing happens, and he just runs into her, and they all fall down. And then she grabs his foot. He kicks her in the face off screen and gets to the finish line in time. Shota loses his mind and hits main character with a rock. The final order is to cut body parts to make a human doll. So, Evil Girl pulls a chainsaw out of nowhere, and Shota says he wants to become a strong man. So, he cuts his own leg off and dies. Then Evil Girl chainsaw slashes Glasses Girl. Main character wakes up, and now Evil Girl is reasonable after almost killing everyone. They put the letters they've been collecting from the dead kids' phones, and it says that they all have to die to make the King's game end. Evil Girl doesn't care and decides to kill the other two. Her preferred method of killing appears to be slapping people to death, so she loses when Boob Window grabs the chainsaw that they all forgot existed. There's this shot where they tried to step up the animation, but they did two different swings. It's like they couldn't decide which shot they wanted to use, so they just combined them. These two go to kiss, and the girl who had her spine severed jumps up and chainsaws Main Boy's neck. Then Evil Girl says she loved Main Boy and it's super romantic. We get to see Main Boy in heaven with all of his friends and both twins who loved him. Boob Girl drags his body to the beach and kisses him before drowning herself, maybe? They don't show it, so who knows? The after credits scene shows that the game didn't end, and we get a to be continued screen because we all want another season of that masterpiece. This show had a whole lot of inconsistencies. The one that stood out to me the most was in between episodes 2 and 3. Guy tries to rape her and everyone watches as she shouts for help. Then she turns evil, but no one notices. She takes her shirt off like she's going to have sex with the guy, and everyone freaks out and is offended that she would do that in public, even though they were fine with her being raped a minute ago. Then she wants to talk to Main Boy, so they walk off into the trees next to the park. She screams that he's attacking her, and these two run over to help. He then looks at Rapist Boy and talks as if he could see them when they were talking. So they weren't in the middle of trees, they were just a few feet away where everyone was initially near the park's entrance. Even before everyone ran over, they should have been able to see them talking and seen her strangle him, but I guess they were looking in the other direction. Big Boy goes into the park, sees the guy that bled to death, and looks over, seeing him beat up on the ground next to the entire group, confirming that they were only a few feet away. Watching this show is like a roller coaster of emotions. It has its parts where you're bored for several episodes in a row. Then there's the scenes where you get angry because of how stupid everyone and everything is. But then you get to an episode that has tons of deaths, and you get to laugh at all the stupid ways the characters die. If you go in looking for a serious drama with good characters and a well thought out plot, then don't even touch this one. However, if you have a group of friends that you like to watch bad shows with while drinking, then I'd say that this is a good one to add to your list. If you feel like watching this show to laugh at, though, I would suggest skipping episodes 2, 3, 4, and 10 because they're the most boring.